Hello dear students. In today's lecture, we will study geometrical meaning of derivative and derivative of inverse function. In the derivative of inverse function, today we will study some standard derivatives of inverse trigonometric functions. So first of all, we see the geometrical meaning of derivative. For that, see here I show one graph. On this graph, we consider point P. The curve is here f of x, and at the x is equal to a, the coordinates of point P are a f of a. Now consider here there is another point Q on the curve, which is little to right of point P, that is to the right of x is equal to a, with a value increased by a small real number h. So the coordinates of this point Q are a plus h, f of a plus h. Now, using these coordinates of point P and Q, we can find the slope of secant PQ. We know if there are 2 points on a line, suppose that 2 points are a x1 y1 and b x2 y2, then we know the slope of that line AB is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. That means the difference of their y coordinates divided by difference of x coordinates. And therefore here the slope of secant PQ is the difference of y coordinates divided by difference of x coordinates of point P and Q. So we get the slope is f of a plus h minus f of a divided by a plus h minus a. Now in the denominator, a and minus a get cancelled. And so we get this slope of secant PQ is f of a plus h minus f of a divided by h. Now here I repeat the graph again here. You don't draw this again in your notebook. Now suppose we make this h as smaller as, then this a plus h will approach to a. आपण हा जो h आहे याला 0 कडे जसं आणणार, म्हणजे स्लाइटली हा जो पॉइंट Q आहे हा कुठे सरकणार आहे तर पॉइंट P कडे. म्हणजे हा जो a प्लस h आहे हा a कडे अप्रोच होणार आहे. That is here Q will approach to point P as h tends to 0. जसं जसं आपण h ला 0 कडे आणणार आहे तसं. So this secant PQ now reduced to or converted to tangent at the point P. Now it is the secant PQ, and if as h tends to 0, this secant becomes tangent to the curve at the point P. And therefore, limit Q tends to P, slope of secant PQ is equal to limit h tends to 0, f of a plus h minus f of a divided by h. This is according to the slope of secant PQ. Okay. And so we know it is nothing but the derivative of the function f of x or the curve f of x at x is equal to a. And so we get the slope of tangent at P is equal to f dash of a Thus, the derivative of a function y is equal to f of x at any point px1, y1 is the slope of tangent at the point on the curve. म्हणजे जर तुम्हाला एखादा कर्व दिलेला असेल आणि त्याच्यावरचा एखादा पॉइंट तुम्हाला माहिती असेल तर त्या पॉइंटला त्या कर्वचा जो स्लोप असेल तो काय असेल तर त्याचं डेरिव्हेटिव्ह ऑफ दॅट फंक्शन ॲट दॅट point gives the slope of the tangent to the curve. Okay. Now, if we consider a point a minus h to the left of a, च्या left side ला आपण a minus h हा point consider केला. Here again h is positive. Then with r as a minus h, f of a minus h. r चे जे coordinates आहेत ते आपल्याला मिळतील इथे a minus h, f of a minus h. Again, using these points P and R, we can find the slope of PR. We get the slope of PR as f of a minus h minus f of a divided by a minus h minus a. So again, it is nothing but the derivative of the function at that point. And so here, slope of PR, which will also converges to slope of the tangent at the point P. Now we see the derivative of inverse function. We know when the inverse of function is exist. We studied that in 11th standard. If the function is 1, 1 and on 2, then its inverses exist. When the function is 1, 1 and on 2, then its inverses exist. That is, x is equal to f inverse of y, if y is f of x. If f inverse of y is differentiable, then we say that, or we can find the derivative of the function. Now we see one theorem on the inverse function. That theorem is, suppose y is equal to f of x is a differentiable function of x on an interval I, and y is 1, 1 on 2 and dy by dx is not equal to 0 on I. Also, if f inverse of y is differentiable on f of I, then d by dy of an f inverse of y is equal to 1 upon f dash of y. Sorry, f dash of x. Or we say this as dx upon dy is equal to 1 upon dy by dx. F inverse of y is what? X. And so we say it as dx upon dy is equal to f dash of x, means since y is equal to f of x, f dash of x is dy by dx, so we get it is equal to 1 upon dy by dx, where this dy by dx is non-zero, because if it is 0, then we can't define the derivative of inverse function. So the condition is necessary that dy by dx is non-zero here. Now see the proof. Given here y is equal to f of x and x is equal to f inverse of y are differentiable functions. These two things are given to you in theorem. Now let delta y be the small increment in y corresponding to the small increment delta x in x. As the delta x and delta y are increments, obviously both are non-zero because they are increments, so they are non-zero. Now consider delta x by delta y multiplied by delta y upon delta x is equal to 1, because it is a product of a term and its reciprocal, and therefore the product is 1 here. So from this we can write here delta x is 1 upon delta y by delta x. If we transfer this term in RHS, it goes in denominator, where this delta y by delta x is non-zero. Now taking limit as delta x tends to 0 on the both sides, we get here limit delta x tends to 0, delta x by delta y is equal to limit delta x tends to 0, 1 upon delta y upon delta x. Now as delta x tends to 0, delta y also tends to 0. And so here this delta x tends to 0 can be replaced to delta y tends to 0. And so here this term becomes now limit delta y tends to 0, delta x upon delta y is equal to 1 upon limit delta x tends to 0, delta y upon delta x. We separate here the terms. Now we have given that y is a differentiable function of x. We call this as relation number 1. Now since y is equal to f of x is differentiable function of x, so its derivative is exist, and it is what? Limit delta y tends limit delta x tends to 0, delta y upon delta x is equal to dy by dx, and this dy by dx is non-zero. We call this as relation number 2. Now if we put this relation number 2 in relation 1, means here in denominator we get now dy by dx. So from 1 and 2 we get limit delta y tends to 0, delta x upon delta y is equal to 1 upon dy by dx. We call this as relation number 3. Now here we observe that the limit in the RHSs exist. And since these both the terms are equal, and since here the limit on RHSs exists, so obviously the limit on LHSs also exists. And as delta y upon delta x is non-zero, 1 upon dy by dx is also exist, and it is finite. So we get limit delta y tends to 0, delta x upon delta y is also exist and is dx upon dy, which is finite. Now put this value of LHS in this relation 3. We get here from relation number 3, dx upon dy is equal to 1 upon dy by dx, where dy by dx is not equal to 0. And here we complete the proof of theorem. Okay. This theorem is important for our examination. The theorem can be asked for 4 marks. Now see some standard derivatives for the inverse trigonometric functions. We see one by one here. So first one is, if y is equal to sine inverse x is lies between closed interval -1 to 1, that is -1 is less than equal to x less than equal to 1, -pi by 2 less than equal to y less than equal to pi by 2. Then prove that dy by dx is equal to 1 upon square root of 1 minus x square mod x is less than 1. This thing is given to you and we have to prove this term. So in the proof, given that y is equal to sine inverse x, -1 less than equal to x less than equal to 1, and -pi by 2 less than equal to y less than equal to pi by 2. Now since here y is equal to sine inverse x, so x is equal to sine y. We call this as relation number 1. Now we observe it is differentiable. So differentiate this with respect to y. We get dx upon dy is equal to d by dy of sine y. Now we know derivative of sine y with respect to y is cos y. So it is equal to cos y. And we can rewrite this as plus or minus square root of cos square y. We know value for cos square y is 1 minus sine square y. So we get dx upon dy is equal to plus or minus square root of 1 minus sine square y. Now since here sine y is x from relation number 1, so we get dx upon dy is plus or minus square root of 1 minus x square. We use here relation number 1. Now we have given that y lies between or lies in the closed interval -pi by 2 to pi by 2. That means here it lies in which quadrant? First or fourth quadrant. And so here cos y is positive because y lies in first or fourth quadrant, and so in the first and fourth quadrant cos y is positive, as we have to given that y belongs to closed interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. And since here cos y is positive, we consider only the positive value for dx upon dy. So dx upon dy is square root of 1 minus x square. Now we have dx upon dy is equal to 1 upon dy by dx. Our aim to find here value of dy by dx. And so from this dy by dx is what? 1 upon dx upon dy. And by substituting that value, we get dy by dx is equal to 1 upon square root of 1 minus x square. And here the proof is completed. Now see second. If y is equal to cos inverse x, minus 1 less than equal to x less than equal to 1, 0 less than equal to y less than equal to pi, then prove that dy by dx is equal to minus 1 upon square root of 1 minus x square. Again in the proof, consider the given thing, given that y is equal to cos inverse x, minus 1 less than equal to x less than equal to 1, and 0 less than equal to y less than equal to pi. Now as y is equal to cos inverse x, we get x is equal to cos y. Again it can be differentiable, so differentiate with respect to y. We get dx upon dy is equal to d by dy of cos y. And derivative of cos y is minus sin y. So dx upon dy is equal to minus sin y. This sin y can be written as plus or minus square root of sin square y. And substituting here value of sin square y in terms of cos, because we know value of cos y is x. And so it is minus of plus or minus square root of 1 minus cos square y. Now substituting value of cos y as x from relation number 1. We get dx upon dy is equal to minus of plus or minus square root 1 minus x square. Now, since here 0 less than equal to y less than equal to pi, that means y lies in first or second quadrant. And we know in the first or in the second quadrant, sine function is positive, means sine y is positive. And therefore, sine y is positive in first or second quadrants, as 0 less than equal to y less than equal to pi. And since it is positive, we consider its positive value, but because of this minus sign, we get dx of dy is negative. And so dx upon dy is equal to minus of square root of 1 minus x square. Again, we have dx upon dy is equal to 1 upon dy by dx. Here dy by dx is non-zero obviously. So dy by dx is equal to minus 1 upon square root 1 minus x square. In this way, we get the derivative for cos inverse of x as minus 1 upon square root 1 minus x square. Now see the third function. If y is equal to tan inverse of x belongs to real numbers, minus pi by 2 less than y less than pi by 2, then dy by dx is equal to 1 upon 1 plus x square. We have given here y is equal to tan inverse x belongs to R, and y belongs to open interval minus pi by 2 to pi by 2. So the proof given y is equal to tan inverse x belongs to R minus pi by 2 less than y less than pi by 2. Now from this we get x is equal to tan y. Call it as relation 1. Now differentiate this with respect to y. We get dx upon dy is equal to d by dy of tan y. Now we know derivative of tan y is sec y into tan y. So it is equal to derivative of tan y is sec square y. So here we get dx upon dy is equal to sec square y. Now since tan y is x, so we write this value of sec square y in terms of tan. It is 1 plus tan square y. Now substituting value for tan y as x, we get dx upon dy is equal to 1 plus x square. Now we have dx upon dy is equal to 1 upon dy by dx. So dy by dx is 1 upon dx upon dy. And hence we get dy upon dx is equal to 1 upon 1 plus x square. That is, derivative of tan inverse x is 1 upon 1 plus x square. Now students, similarly we can find the derivative for cot inverse x. If y is equal to cot inverse x belongs to R, 0 less than y less than pi, then dy by dx is equal to minus 1 upon 1 plus x square. Here it can be proved as that of proof of third. Do it for homework. I give you one hint here. We consider the given thing, and from this given thing we get x is equal to cot y. If we differentiate it with respect to y, we get dx upon dy is equal to derivative of cot y. And we know derivative of cot y is minus cosec square x. And that cosec square x can be written in terms of cot as 1 plus cot square x. So we get here dx upon dy is minus of 1 plus cot square y. And cot y is x, so we get it is dx upon dy is equal to minus of 1 plus x square. And again by using the theorem, we get here dy by dx is minus 1 upon 1 plus x square. So students, do it for homework. Now see the fifth. If y is equal to sec inverse x such that mod x is less than equal to 1, 0 less than equal to y less than or equal to pi, but here y is not equal to pi by 2. Because when y is pi by 2, we can't define the function. And so here in the proof, then we have to prove here dy by dx is 1 upon x into square root of x square minus 1 if x is greater than 1, and it is equal to minus 1 upon x into square root x square minus 1 if x is less than minus 1. So proof given y is equal to sec inverse x, mod x is greater than equal to 1, 0 less than equal to pi less than equal to y less than equal to pi, y not equal to pi by 2. Now this y is equal to sec inverse x gives x is equal to sec y. We call this as relation number 1. Now since here y is lies or it belongs to closed interval 0 to pi except pi by 2. That means here the curve does not lie between minus 1 to 1. So the curve for sec y is as shown in the figure. It does not lie in between minus 1 to 1. It lies in first or in the second quadrant, and this curve does not touches to pi by 2 also. Here y is pi by 2. Okay. Now differentiate this with respect to y. We get dx upon dy is equal to d by dy of sec y. Now derivative of sec y is sec y into tan y. So we get dx upon dy is equal to sec y into tan y. Now convert this tan y in terms of sec. We get it is plus or minus sec y into square root of tan square y, and put this value of tan square y in terms of sec. So it is equal to plus or minus sec y into square root of sec square y minus 1. But we know sec y is x from our relation number 1. And so we get dx upon dy is equal to plus or minus x into square root of x square minus 1. Now here 0 less than equal to y less than equal to pi, but y is not equal to pi by 2. This is given to you. That means here y lies in first and second quadrant. And in the first quadrant, sec y and tan y both are positive. So this product is positive in the first quadrant. Also, in the second quadrant, sec y and tan y both are negative. Both are negative. So their product is again positive. And so in first or in the second quadrant, product is always positive. So now since y lies in first and second quadrant, so in the first quadrant both sec y and tan y are positive. Also in second quadrant both sec y and tan y are positive, and therefore sec y into tan y is positive in both first and second quadrant. And therefore also x greater than 0, x into square root x square minus 1 is also greater than 0. For x is less than 0, obviously this term becomes negative. So minus x into square root of x square minus 1 is positive. Since it negative, if we multiply by it minus sign, it becomes positive. Okay. And so dx upon dy is equal to x into square root x square minus 1 when x is greater than 0, mod x is greater than 1, that is x is greater than 1. And it is equal to minus x into square root x square minus 1 when x is negative, mod x is greater than 1, that is x is less than minus 1. And hence we have by using dx upon dy is equal to 1 upon dy by dx, we get dy by dx is equal to 1 upon x into square root x square minus 1 if x is greater than 1, and it is equal to minus 1 upon x into square root of x square minus 1 if x is less than minus 1. Here we get the derivative of sec inverse x. Now our last proof is here that we have to do for homework. If y is equal to cosec inverse x such that mod x is greater than equal to 1, minus pi by 2 less than equal to y less than equal to pi by 2, y is not equal to 0. Then dy by dx is equal to minus 1 upon x into square root x square minus 1 if x is positive, or sorry, it is greater than 1, and it is equal to 1 upon x into square root of x square minus 1 if x is less than minus 1. Again, this can be proved as that of our fifth result, and so this is left for homework. Do this for homework. Again, here consider this given thing. From this we get x is equal to cosec y. Differentiate this, we get dx upon dy is minus cosec y into cot y. That cot y can be written in terms of cosec y as plus or minus square root of cosec square y. And so we get dx upon dy is equal to minus of plus or minus x into square root x square minus 1. Now since here y lies in first or in fourth quadrant. Now again here in the first quadrant cosec y and cot y both are positive, so the product is positive. In the fourth quadrant both are negative, so again the product is positive. And so here we consider the positive value, but when x is positive we get here negative sign, and when it is the negative we get here positive sign, because minus minus becomes plus here, because here we get the derivative is negative. And so here for x greater than 0 we get the negative value, means minus x into square root x square minus 1, and for x is less than 0 we get the positive value x into square root x square minus 1. And in this way here we get the proof for this result. Now we see some important substitutions that are used to solve the examples. So see one by one here. In the first column I write here the expression, and in the second column I write the corresponding substitution. So when this expression is of the form square root 1 minus x square, we use the substitution for x as x is equal to sine theta or x is equal to cos theta, because we know the identity 1 minus sine square theta is cos square theta, means it becomes cos theta. And if we put here cos theta, we get 1 minus cos square theta as sine square theta. So square root of sine square theta is sine theta. And so we use this substitution here. Now the square root of 1 plus x square. When the expression is of this type, then we put here the substitution for x as tan theta or cot theta. When the expression is of the form square root x square minus 1, at that time we use the substitution for x as sec theta or cosec theta. If the expression is square root of a plus x upon a minus x or square root of a minus x upon a plus x. In both of the cases, we use the substitution for x as a cos 2 theta or a cos theta. Because using this substitution, here we can use cos 2 theta's formula or half angle formula. When the expression is of the form square root of 1 plus x upon 1 minus x or square root of 1 minus x upon 1 plus x. At that time, we use the substitution for x as cos 2 theta or x is equal to cos theta. Next expression is of the form square root of a plus x square upon a minus x square or square root of a minus x square upon a plus x square. We observe in the previous formulae, we see here a plus x upon a minus x and here a minus x upon a plus x. At that time, we substitute about x for a cos theta or a cos 2 theta. Here, we use substitution for x square. So, we put the substitution for x square as x square is equal to a cos theta or x square is equal to a cos theta. When the expression is of the form 2x upon 1 plus x square. At that time, we use the substitution for x as tan theta. When the expression is of the form 1 minus x square upon 1 plus x square, then we use substitution again as x is equal to tan theta. When the expression is of the form 3x minus 4x cube or 1 minus 2x square, at that time we use the substitution for x as x is equal to sin theta. When expression is of the form 4x cube minus 3x or 2x square minus 1, then we use substitution for x as cos theta. If the expression is 3x minus x cube upon 1 minus 3x square, then we use the substitution for x as tan theta. When the expression is 2 f of x upon 1 plus f of x square or 1 minus f of x square upon 1 plus f of x square. We observe here, if we replace f of x as x, it becomes this or this time. And in both the cases, we substitute about x as tan theta. And here x is what? F of x. So here we use the substitution f of x as tan theta. And these are some standard substitutions. These are used to solve the examples. हे तुम्हाला एक्झाम्पल सॉल्व करताना यूज करायचे आहे. म्हणून हे आतापर्यंत जेवढे आपण इन्व्हर्स ट्रिग्नोमेट्रीची फॉर्म्युलीज पाहिली ते सगळे फॉर्म्युले आणि हे सबस्टिट्यूशन हे तुम्हाला पाठ करायचे आहे. एक लक्षात घ्यायचं आहे, मॅथमॅटिक्समध्ये प्रॉब्लेम्स पाठ करायचे नसतात, फक्त आपल्याला काय पाठ करायचं असतं? फॉर्म्युलीज. अँड सो रिमेंबर ऑल दीज फॉर्म्युलीज अँड सबस्टिट्यूशन्स to solve our example. So see you again in our next lecture. Thank you.